Hey, it's me, MacLeod. Yes, that's my real name. Please don't look it up. When I was a kid, my family didn't have a lot of options when it came to video games. My bro and I had Puppet Saves the Zoo, Solitaire, and a demo of Extremely Goofy Skateboarding. My gaming options were limited. But then, I remember one day... Sorry, forgot you can't see what's in my head. You see, since my family never owned a Nintendo console, I never got to experience the wonder and joy of owning a Mario Kart game. But I got to experience a different kind of joy. Owning a game that literally no one else on this planet has ever heard of. Toon Car: The Great Race. Is it actually great, though? Spoiler alert, it's actually not that great. Actually, I'm not sure if I can play this. Does my computer have 64 megabytes of RAM? I probably gotta download some real quick.
Welcome to Toon Car Racing!
So basically, this game is divided into various...
We're waiting for someone we don't know who. Decide what must be done.
This is Mr. Chatty. He's basically the commentator of these races. Throughout the menu screen, he pops in to say words. Then during the races, he also pops up and says words. Saying words is kinda his thing. He's loud and obnoxious, but if you get tired of his annoying banter, you can mute him in settings. Since childhood me genuinely found him to be an endearing character, there's no way I could silence his deafening, infuriating voice. It would be like slapping my younger self in the face. And child abuse is bad. Anyways, this game is divided into...
We're waiting for someone we don't know who.
Single player. In this game, there are a few different modes you can play. There's a practice mode, which is literally just you riding around any of the tracks by yourself like a lonely sad person. It's boring. There's a single race option where you can play a regular level with AI opponents, and you have the options to select 3, 5, 7, or even 9 laps if you're a crazy person. Before each race begins, you'll have the chance to select a course, one of 14 races stereotypes to race as, and an epic vehicle. You may be thinking to yourself, that sounds pretty awesome and fun. Wait, did you say racist stereotypes? Yes, each character in this game is a racist stereotype. You have crazy Asian people, crazy Hispanic people, crazy Arabian people, crazy white people, and even crazy black people. Normally I'd find making fun of different people groups distasteful, but because this game makes fun of all the people groups, I think it's probably fine. Gameplay consists of racing around a track. There are 5 other racers in each race, which is randomized. There are item blocks scattered in each race with power-ups inside that can range from explosive devices to shields to explosive devices to explosive devices to... Yeah, there's a lot of explosions in this game. There are rockets that will attach themselves to the nearest opponent, like the red shell in Mario Kart, rockets that will head straight for the racer in first place, like the blue shell in Mario Kart, a storm cloud that will hit the racer who touches it, like the banana peel in Mario Kart, a turbo item that sends the player zooming ahead of everyone else, like the mushrooms in Mario Kart. This game is kind of similar to Mario Kart. Though the first few races are mildly entertaining, this game gets super repetitive the more you play it, but more on that later. Graphics. The graphics are, for the most part, actually endearing. Each level has a unique atmosphere, and it's pretty easy to tell one apart from the other. 1 second you're in Egypt, and then boom, you're on the moon. And now you're in Vegas. Basically, they've taken real-world places and made them cartoony. And for the most part, it works. Despite the character designs being mildly offensive stereotypes, each is distinctive and cartoonish, which seems to be the intended goal. After all, it is called Toon Car, not super gritty and realistic kart. Or Garfield Kart. I gotta hand it to the developers of this game, it's certainly unique. Although, to be honest, some of the character designs kinda terrify me. Also, the physics engine is something I wanted to mention. From what I gathered from my deep online research into the making of this game, okay, I wasn't able to find a ton of information about the company, but it is worth noting that the small team of developers built their own in-house game engine. I really like the way this game uses physics with some of the destructible environment. You see, sometimes if you launch a rocket, if no one is near enough to be hit by it, it'll lock onto one of the props in the game and blow that up instead. I thought it was a cute little mechanic, and I wish this game had done something more with the physics instead of it just being a gimmick. Multiplayer. As far as multiplayer options go, you can do a split screen mode with either regular races or a fun little battle minigame. It's similar to the balloon battle mode in Mario Kart, but instead of popping your opponent's balloons with shells and banana peels, you'll have to instead brutally knock over these cute little cones. Oh, and if you noticed how one player seems to be moving normally and the other is just kind of bumping into stuff, I don't have anyone around to play this game with, and player 2's default control setup is the same as player 1's. I just like to pretend I have friends around to play this with. Hey guys, let's play a racing game! Wow, that sounds awesome! I can't wait! I murdered my entire family! Hey guys, can I play too? Haha, no silly, there's only room for 4 players on this racing game. Go back to playing stupid Mario Kart on your Switch while we play a real racing game. There's also an online multiplayer option, but it seems to only work with a LAN connection. So basically, to make this work, you need a few different people on the same network, all with their own computers and copies of this game. Hey, did you bring your copy of Toon Car The Great Race? You know it. Did someone say Toon Car The Great Race? Did I miss the epic Toon Car The Great Race LAN party? Sorry I'm late, had to bury my family. Hey guys, I brought my Switch. Licenses and championships. The modes with the most depth in this game are the intertwined license and championship modes. You see, there are 3 different levels of championships, but to access them you have to complete the license for that championship first. In each license race, you have to complete a course in a set amount of time while knocking down every cone on the course. Most of the cones are dormant orange cones, but there are a few of these blue cones. These guys have feet and run around a bit, so you have to account for that while you're attempting to knock them over. I find the license mode to be the most engaging part of the game. Since you have more of a set goal to knock over all these cones while making it to the finish line before the time expires, it forces you to strategize and take careful note of where the remaining cones are once you've finished a lap. It's quite fun. Once you've completed the license, you're ready to race in a season of the championship. There are 3 types of championship seasons: points, timed, and elimination. In points, you'll earn a set amount of points for completing the race in whichever position you finished. For example, in Championship Type A, you'll receive 5 points for coming in first, 4 points for coming in second, and so on and so forth. The racer who comes in 6th place will get no points, so don't do that. In timed, the racer with the overall fastest time in each race of the season combined will be the winner. In this mode, your position in the race still matters, but the game judges your overall speed with each race, totaling up to the winner. The elimination round feels the most distinct to me. You see, instead of each race consisting of 3 laps, each race will have 5. During each lap, the racer in last place will be forced to drop out completely, so by the last lap, there will only be 2 racers left. The game still adds up points based on position like in the points round, but it's important to stay in first place for as long as possible. Thankfully, the AI in this game isn't super great, and it's pretty easy to stay in first consistently. After you finish the A group of championships, you'll be rewarded with new courses to play in the single race and multiplayer modes, as well as 3 new vehicles. The 2-star vehicles move faster than the 1-star vehicles, but that's where the game starts to reach a point that's hard to play. While the races will go much faster thanks to the faster cars, it'll also start to get a bit harder to control. It's hard to explain, but due to the terrain of the track being rough anyway, combined with the high speed of 2-star cars, it makes the game bumpier? That's the only way I can think of to explain it, so we'll just leave it at that. Now that the championships in Group A are finished, it's time to get a B license for the next group. You'll do the same thing as last time, knock over all the cones, drive super fast, bing bong, you won. Now it's time for the next batch of championships, starting with points, then timed, then elimination. Once you've completed those championships, it's time to get the 3rd and final license. Knock over all the cones, drive fast, yada yada, then do the next batch of championships. This is where the only interesting mode in the game starts to fall apart. Repetition. It's the same thing, but it gets faster every time. There's nothing more to it than that. Also, did I mention the music is really repetitious? Because the music is really repetitious. Toon Car is honestly pretty unique, all things considered. I know I joked earlier about how much it seemed to borrow from Mario Kart, but it still tried to do its own thing. It had unique environments, unique characters, and unique modes I hadn't seen in other kart racers. It's kinda sad to me that this game is more of a concept than a full game. I feel like if their budget was maybe a bit bigger or they had a bigger team behind it, this game could have been something amazing. But even though it's not necessarily great, get it cause it's called The Great Race? It's still a unique and fun experience. Before the game got repetitious, I found the chaos of races and the wacky feel of the game to be really charming. In fact, I still find it charming. There was a clear passion behind the scenes. Perhaps a passion of wanting to make a fun and wacky game. And for that, I think this game and the developers deserve some respect. Toon Car The Great Race isn't a game I would recommend, however, if it interested you, then feel free to check it out. I got my copy from eBay, and since it wasn't really a successful or popular game, it's fairly inexpensive. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'll excuse me, I gotta run. You see, I'm taking my driver's test today, and after playing this game, I know exactly what it takes to get a license. I've been banned from every DMV in the US.